Hey, this TK Irish, and you would not believe what's going on today. We're here at Camp Kennerk, and we have a very special guest, a special guest of Douglas and myself, because I've known her probably 15 minutes, but we are best buds. And let me tell you something. She lives in New York City. Yeah, the Big Apple. But wait, there's even more. Would you believe she has written a book that is famous, that's on the Amazon bestsellers? Yeah, yeah. I mean, Douglas really got somebody coming out here today. Oh, by the way, did you know that she knows how to build a teepee? So, with further ado, oh, excuse me, Doc, stay down. There's your bone there. Okay, good girl. So, Douglas, I'm gonna hand it off to you, and you can terrorize her, and I'll be your backup.
DK, so good to see you. And yes, we do have a special guest today. But first off, I wish to let you know that Jojo Bear is over here. He's the vice president in charge of production. And Otis, Cowboy Otis, is in charge of security. So we're all set here. And let me shake my little Austin globe here. We'll just shake it around and see what pops up because we do have a special guest today, my pal Robbie D from New York City. And we have known each other for many, many years when we neighbors when we lived in New York City. And she's kind of famous now, and we're very happy to have her as a happy camper here at the Camp Kennerk podcast. And I would just wish to say, Robbie, glad to have you here.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me to join the two of you. And I think that, and I also appreciate the very warm welcome. I'm sure that I'm not famous beyond the one block that I live on in New York City, but I appreciate your kind words and your promotional introduction.
Well,
TK, TK, I told you she was cute and she's humble too.
and she's smart. I know that. But while we're talking about intelligence, let's talk about getting our Dr. Pepper in before we get too crazy around here. How's that sound?
Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Mm. Woo!
Okay.
That's the
All
smartest
right.
thing I've done all day.
Now let's start having a little chat with Robbie. Robbie, you tell the story how we met. How did we meet?
Well, I think that let's see, I moved into your neighborhood in about 2007, and you were one of the very first people that I met when I moved into the neighborhood, Douglas, because you were so well known that you everybody knew you. You had your eyes out and were taking care of everybody in the neighborhood, including all of the dogs and cats and the little children. And I think at that time we had a son who might have been 6 or 7. And whenever he ventured out alone, you were always kind of there following him around on the sidewalk, making sure that he was safe and he was doing what he was supposed to be doing. So you were the guy to know, and we were fortunate enough to meet you very early on.
I'm
Robbie?
Doug the neighbor, and if you're Doug the neighbor, you gotta be Doug the neighbor.
You
Yes,
did it very well.
and it was beautiful meeting you. And being Doug the neighbor helped me in my acting career because I turned it into a kind of income producing situation of walking dogs, taking care of people's houses, so I could pursue my acting career on my own time. And yes, that is how we met in New York City. Now, uh, where did you go to high school, Robbie D?
Well, I actually grew up in San Diego, and I went to La Jolla High School, which was the local high school in my neighborhood.
Were
And
you were you the Lions, Tigers, or Bears?
we were the Vikings. Uh,
Go
Go
Vikings.
Vikings. Go Vikings.
Were you a
And
So
cheerleader?
Vikings.
I was not a cheerleader, but I have two younger sisters and they were both cheerleaders. So, yeah, so I grew up in San Diego and moved to New York after graduating from college to go to law school. And it had always been my intention to return to San Diego, but I met my husband and he had never been to California. And he did not really understand that the world extended beyond the Hudson River, which is a very New York City way of thinking. And so as a result, I'm still there. So,
Well,
That's a
Robbie,
beautiful
quick
story.
question.
Go ahead, TK.
Yeah, quick question here. Now, you said you met your husband there. Did you meet him in law school, or did you just run into him on the sidewalk and say, "Hi, my name's Robbie. How do you like me so far?"
well, I thought I was so homesick coming from Southern California and moving to the big city. And I just had not lived there. I had never lived there before. I was completely unfamiliar with the city. I didn't know. I was really overwhelmed. And so I met Ted, my husband, in the my first year in law school. We were both in the basement of the law library studying, which is a very typical place for law students to study. And he was wandering, even though he had never been to California, he was wandering around with a San Diego surfer t-shirt on. And so I was so homesick that I thought, oh wow, this is my guy. He's from San Diego. He knows how to surf. He loves the ocean. And little did I know that, as I said, he had never been to California. So I
Well,
always
What
used
a
to
Robbie,
say,
beautiful
we have a phrase for that. It's called false advertising.
well, false advertising, or in the law, we say fraud in the inducement.
There
So
you go.
So TK, I told you she's smart.
Oh, I have no doubt about it.
yeah,
And
so
what a beautiful love story. Meeting somebody in the basement of an old building with a bunch of books and being enamored by a surfer t-shirt.
yeah, I know.
That,
Study.
that's got to be a song in there
That's a
someplace.
country western song there, Douglas. I hear
No,
it
no,
now.
Beach Boy
A Beach
song.
Boy, a country westernized Beach Boy song. So, uh,
So now, Robbie D, you know that I played a lawyer on TV and on stage in New York City as an actor. And I also was in a Japanese movie as a lawyer. So I know all about it.
well, you have that gravitas, Douglas. I think you really you have tremendous confidence. You really sound like you know what you're doing. And being a lawyer is really just projecting a lot of confidence. So I can understand why so many roles like that came your way.
TK, do you know how to spell gravitas?
Yeah, but here's the deal.
What's it mean?
I have to Google it first.
What's it mean?
It means having a lot of self-confidence, and that's what it
It's
takes. So
aura. It's aura.
it's
Oh,
aura.
Aura. Now, Douglas, I think you can spell that. So just, think of that. AURA. That's
ORA.
what gravitas means.
Or we
Well,
could
in Texas, we call that Texas B charm.
charm or your vibe. It's your vibe.
Or
Vibe.
CW, that means charm and wit. And if that doesn't work, we go to the chains and whips.
There you go.
And then the last chance is crying and weeping.
That does it too. So
So you're in New York City, you go to law school, you meet your sweetie Ted, and you start your life. Was it difficult getting a job right out of college as to become a lawyer?
well, I actually right out of college, I worked a couple years as a graphic artist. And so I was, for me, I kind of have a duality going on. It was either art, the law, and at some point I decided it would be easier to make a living as a mediocre lawyer than it would as a mediocre artist. So that's how I ended up in law school. And then law schools generally tend to do a pretty good job of trying to put their graduates in the workforce. So I was able to, I worked for a law firm for about 5 years to pay off my student loans. And then from there, I went to work for a very large not-for-profit and I became a civil rights lawyer. And so the bulk of my legal career was doing civil rights law.
Okay, so I have a serious question for you. Since are you a Perry Mason lawyer? Are you an LA law lawyer? Or in Texas, it's Judd for the defense? Or are you a law and order Sam Waterson lawyer? Or are you a Matlock lawyer? Where do you fall in the
In the
category? Yeah.
Well, it's so funny you mentioned that because I think I first became interested in going to law school watching Perry Mason in reruns when it came on in San Diego at 10 a.m. in the morning during one summer vacation. I must have watched at least 100 Perry Mason shows. And so that's how I started. I think I probably would say I'm a Matlock lawyer. And by that, I mean, somebody who's kind of unassuming, but then, does all the background work and kind of knows how to, hit the target going forward in bringing the cases that I brought. So,
Okay, so TK, here's the problem. She's watching Matlock, Law and Order, all of the Law Shores stories on Saturday at 10 a.m. in the morning, and I'm watching Westerns. What were you watching at 10 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday?
Me? You talking to me?
Yeah.
On Saturday morning, we were picking popcorn. We
okay.
weren't picking it, we were shucking it. If we weren't shucking it, we were drying it. If we weren't drying it, we were trying to sell it. You know how things run in at Camp Kennerk, Indiana. We're always got those sleeves rolled up and a smart aleck remark. So that's pretty much what we did. Robbie, real quick question while we're
See,
on the subject of popcorn. This is a personal question. How do you pop your popcorn?
Well, I with a lot of salt and a lot of butter.
So now, do you put it in a microwave or do you put it in a skillet, a pan, and cook it up that way?
I put it in, I guess I put it in the microwave. Is that cheating?
Oh no, no. Everybody has their own way. We're non-judgmental here at Camp Kennerk. So as long as you enjoy the treat, that's what's important.
Yeah, no, you can't beat popcorn.
Oh yeah, you can't beat
TK,
it here.
tell her who you grew your popcorn for on your farm in Indiana. Who for?
Orvin Reckenbacher. No, that's wrong. It was Jiffy Pop.
Oh, wow. Well, that's
Yeah, so
either one. Pretty
we had all
good.
the Jiffy Pop we could ever want to have.
Oh, wow. Well, that's pretty impressive.
We're gonna put that on my tombstone, Jiffy Pop popcorn.
Isn't
Just
that the one that came in its own frying pan and you heated it over the stove?
yes, and it popped up with the foil, and
Yeah, yeah, that was really fun.
yeah, then you pop the aluminum foil and you look over and that steam comes up and gives you a free facial.
Yeah, that was a free facial with a lot of butter and a lot of salt.
Oh yeah. What else would you want in life,
I
Robbie?
know, I know. That's what it always boils down to. So,
Well, listen, while you two are having your popcorn party, let's move on and find out more about how cute Robbie D gets through life. She's smart enough to figure out she couldn't pay rent in the art world, so she became a lawyer, and now she's saving the world. That's what she's doing. Right, Robbie?
exactly.
See? Told you she was smart.
No,
Told you she was smart.
I wish that were true, Douglas. It takes a lot of hard work out there. Uh,
Well, you're doing it. You're doing it now. One of the things that I know about you, and when I did the radio Spotify radio interviews. You Doug the neighbor interviews his neighbors. You were a correspondent for us, and you sent in stories about New York City, your neighborhood, and you did it very diligently and every month. And you had some great stories about the neighborhood, the people, your observations of life in the city.
Yeah, I think New York City is a city of about 8.5 million people, but it's made up of a lot of really small neighborhoods. And each neighborhood can be a few blocks, city blocks long. So they're not really not that big. And I think because it's a very pedestrian city. So most people are out walking on the sidewalk in order to go about their day, to go to work, to do the errands that they have to do. So you end up seeing the same people um, many times a week, just in the normal course of whatever it is that you do. And through those connections, you start to make friendships. So that was the neighborhood that I moved into when you were there, Douglas, and it still remains a pretty tight, very congenial neighborhood, of young people, old people, families, a really kind of welcoming place, which I know is not what people normally think about New York City, but this area is actually very welcoming.
Well,
Now, go ahead.
Robbie, real quick question. And back in the day, it was told to me that, it was very common for people in the same neighborhood to fall in love and get married and stay within that realm of demographics. Now, is that still the same? Or because back then, if you went across the street to the other neighborhood and started courting a young lady or a man, there was like whispering, like, can you believe? So has that changed any?
Well, that's a little bit like West Side Story, right? The where somebody from one block makes a mistake of falling in love with somebody else from another block. I think those areas are a little bit bigger now than they used to be. But That's interesting. And now that I think about it, they're probably, people from Brooklyn kind of stay in Brooklyn, people from Manhattan stay in Manhattan. But the subway makes it a lot easier to get around than it probably did back in the day.
Well, that's great.
Now,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead, Chief.
Douglas.
No, go ahead.
No, you. Go ahead, Douglas.
Okay. Robbie D., your observations of the neighborhood, uh, you have documented this by taking up, you have a photography book where you would take photos of your view of the world. What is the name of that photography book?
Oh, well, I have to. I think there was one. Well, the name of my book is Billable Hours in 6-minute increments. And so when I left the practice of law in about 10 years ago, and I decided that I really wanted to go back to school to study photography. So I went I joined a program where in order to graduate from it, you had to self-publish your own photo book. And so my photography advisor, suggested that I do something about lawyers. And initially, when he made that suggestion, I thought that is the most boring thing I ever heard. I am not doing it. And I just couldn't imagine how anybody outside of the law could possibly be interested in what lawyers actually do, because a lot of it involves, looking through documents and reading books and case law, it can be quite tedious. So what I ended up doing is I went back and I thought, I'm going to make a book about the law firm that I first worked at when I graduated from law school. And that was in the 1980s. And that law firm was it was a little bit more like I think LA Law of all of the law shows that you mentioned a few minutes ago, Douglas. And it was like Party Central over at that law firm. And all the women were coming into the legal profession in large numbers at the first, for the very first time. And the men in the law firm didn't really know how to respond to them. So my book kind of looks at how, uh, what it was like to be a young female lawyer entering the profession at a time when male lawyers really didn't quite know what to do with the women who were coming into the profession. And it takes a humorous look at that, how men and women occupy corporate spaces and how they do so very differently.
So, Robbie,
Now,
what you're saying is you broke the glass ceiling.
Well, I didn't. I never got. I think I broke the glass door in that I, got in the door, but I don't think I ever rose to the ceiling. I was there for about 5 years, and I realized this place is not for me, and that's when I left. But during the 5 years that I was there, it was a pretty wild ride. So.
mhm.
Well,
Now we have a picture of the cover of your book, and where can people buy your book? Is
Well, they can buy it on my website, which is robindahlberg.net, or I think it's also available on Amazon. So,
and it's called Billable Hours.
billable hours in 6-minute increments, because that's
Okay.
how lawyers bill their time out to their clients.
Okay, and we have a couple of pictures from that book, and we've picked out the funny ones, and they are all you. All of the models are you.
Me and my husband Ted, my sister Julie is in there. I've got a few other friends. All of the images, though, were staged, so nothing is spontaneous, but they were based on my experience as a young woman lawyer.
Well, we picked out four or five of the best ones, and let's see if we can't take a look at them now.
those are great pictures. I gotta say, I have not seen anything like that in quite a while. You should be proud of yourself.
Oh, well, thank you. They were a lot of fun. I think part of what I was trying to do too was poke fun at my husband, who worked for a big corporate law firm at that time. So I was uh, trying to get him to laugh a little bit at himself as well.
Well, did he laugh?
He was a little nervous at the beginning, but then when he saw how well received the book was after it came out, he kind of relaxed and
Oh, okay. It's like,
he
well, I don't know.
appreciated
I
the
don't know.
humor.
Oh, yeah, I knew it all the time. I knew it all the
Yeah,
time. Right?
I
right.
told
Exactly.
her it would
Yes,
work. Yeah,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
knew. I knew. Yeah. So now your photography book, I think, is very funny. The pictures are very funny, and the fact that you did it. The fact that you did it, and it's beautiful. Now you've taken the lessons that you have learned in photography, and you are now using it for the good. Please tell us what you are doing there.
Yeah, so with some of the women that I went to art school with, we got together and we founded a little not-for-profit called Five Corners Collective, and we teach photography and visual storytelling in underserved areas. So one of the places, actually two underserved areas. One is at a senior center in a public housing project in New York City called the Queensbridge Houses, where we work with a group of about 15 women who are all senior citizens, many of whom have been living in the same housing project for most of their lives. And the second area that we work in is on the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. The Rosebud Reservation is the home of the Sichangu Lakota Sioux tribe, which is a tribe of about 40,000 people, half of whom live on the reservation. And there I work at the Boys and Girls Club, and I've been working there for teaching photography probably for about 8 years. But before then, I represented the tribe in a lawsuit against one of the a public school district in a town bordering the reservation. And that school district was not treating the Indigenous youth who went to school there very well and was pushing them out into the criminal justice system. And so I got involved on behalf of some families who had kids that were going to that school to change the way that the educational environment at the school so that it was more welcoming to Indigenous youth. So I go out there, I go out to the reservation once or twice a year. I work with kids who are between the ages of 8 and 16. And the reservation tends to be very geographically isolated. So kids don't really have an opportunity to go outside the reservation. And what we have tried to do is to get them to use cameras to tell stories about their lives. And then we've arranged for them to show their photography at various venues out off the reservation, like in San Francisco one year, another time in Rapid City, South Dakota, and then another time we brought them out to New York City for a long weekend. Their work was being shown at a venue in New York City. And so give them an experience, the opportunity to see what other youth are doing, and to see how people are responding to the work that they're presenting. And I think all of those experiences for them have been really eye-opening and very educational, and they've really enjoyed the opportunity to travel off the reservation.
Now, what is the name of the reservation again?
It's the Rosebud Reservation, and it's the home of the Rosebud tribe, which is known in Lakota as the Sichangu tribe.
Okay, so on Google Maps, what is the closest town?
The closest town is Mission, South Dakota. Which is a town of about 3,000 people, and that's the economic capital of the reservation.
Okay,
Uh,
and the collective that it has a name again?
so our teaching group is called Five Corners Collective.
Okay,
Um,
and you have your own website?
yeah, we have our own website called Five Corners. I think it's fivecornerscollective.org.
.org.
And there we have posted a lot of the work that we've done on behalf of these two groups that we work with, the seniors and the kids.
Oh, okay, now that's a beautiful thing, and your efforts are need to be applauded, and we're very happy to have you here talking about this. Now, I take pictures on my cell phone. That's it. What sort of camera do you have?
Well, I take a lot of pictures on my cell phone too, and in fact, I have it right here. But I also have a lot of different cameras as well. And I think photographers really enjoy using different types of cameras because each camera can be so different from every other camera. So I have a big fancy fat camera, and then I have a little plastic camera that you can buy off Amazon for about $30. But I think cell phones today are so good that you can't go wrong using your cell phone.
Now, you plan to move on into documentaries, anything like that? Films? Film?
I have done some video work just for online video content. But that's a much more complicated skill set. And I'm gonna leave the long-term documentary work to people who are better versed in those skills than I am.
Robbie D, you need my coaching, my free advice for $1. You get the good neighbor discount. Now that you have your cell phone, just like the rest of us, you can shoot documentaries and videos on your cell phone.
You're absolutely right.
And
Yeah.
so please change your attitude.
Okay.
You've got me to coach you, because I've shot a feature length film. I've shot thousands of videos that are on YouTube and that are on TikTok and Instagram. Change your attitude, gal. Come on, you can do it. I want to see a documentary. And do you have your own personal Robbie D YouTube channel where you can post stuff? Do you?
I have a Vimeo channel. Uh,
Good.
yeah,
On
so
on YouTube, on YouTube.
on Vimeo. Vimeo is a separate kind of competitor to YouTube. So
Well, may I suggest you do both because Camp Kennerk podcast, TK's got 4 or 5 platforms. Some I've never heard of. The Indiana Popcorn Channel. I've got YouTube and Facebook and that sort of stuff. We just want to get our name out, and so our what you're doing is beautiful stuff, and we encourage you to. You got Vimeo or whatever you said, and you've got YouTube. Put it on out, and you're smart enough to understand how to do a video, little logo, little music, the good looking young guy who comes across and says, there's a problem here. And then the cute gal who's documenting it all. We could make this a Hallmark Christmas movie right now. I can see it coming. What do you
I think
think,
you're right,
TK?
Douglas. I see it. I got the vision, and I think the opening scene, picking popcorn in Indiana.
Oh, I got it.
Yes, right there. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
opening shot. And,
yeah,
and and you know what? We'll see Robbie come walking out of the stalks of corn, and
yeah.
she'll start her
And
dialogue from there.
she's from New York City. She's tired of the big life. She comes to Fort Wayne, Indiana, or Mudville, Indiana, someplace like that. It's always a small town. And she runs into the good looking vet who can save her dog. And they get into a fight. Then they kiss and make up. And then it's Christmas. And then the Hallmark card and the snow falls. See, it's all there. There you
You
go.
got it. You got it,
that
Douglas. I'm proud of you.
that advice is worth way more than $1.
You get the discount.
I think I have really won out here with all that great advice. Thank you so much.
Hey, Robbie, we're trained professionals.
I can tell.
We're
I can
trained for
tell. That is a real bonus. I didn't realize.
Neither did
uh,
I.
now, Robbie D, your life from San Diego to New York City to art to law to photography, helping other people, saving the world with your law degree and capturing it on photos and future Hallmark films. Do you have any wise words or stories or a funny joke that you would like to partake and share with the Camp Kennerk world galaxy?
Well, let's see. I'm going to think. I think the one thing that I wish that I had, if I had to go back in time and I could give myself some advice, I think it would be not to be afraid to fail. Because I think by failing, you learn, and from your mistakes, you just pick yourself up and you keep on going. So it would be not to be afraid to take risks, not be afraid to, make mistakes, and just remember to keep on moving forward.
Well, wise words, and TK and I have known each other a long time, and we know a lot about failure. So, but we always believe that if you fall flat on your face, at least you're moving forward. So simple.
I, that makes 3 of us. So
Okay. Now, I have a little gift for you for being a participant, and we'll get your address, correct address from you in a bit. Every year I do the Top of Possum Trot Flipper Walk, where we walk up Possum Trot that has two vicious hills in scuba flippers. And TK and his boys participated last year, and we raise money for the Dell Children's Cancer Fund. And we have a little trinket for you. It is a flipper. Right, this it's a keychain. We have these for your family,
Hold
and
up,
the
Douglas. I
logo
can't see it.
is
Hold it
and
up. Hold it
um,
up. You're too low. Hold it up.
hold it up. Okay, there you go.
Oh,
There we
wow. Thank
go.
you.
There you
Look,
Those
it's
go.
are so,
multicolors, you know?
oh, wow.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you so much.
And our motto is flip off Big C. So
Okay. I like it.
thank you, Robbie. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
TK, she's a darling. She's cute. She's smart. And I think she's got one last word for us. What is it, Robbie D? What's your word?
Seize the day.
Aaron, go brawl.
Go Cowboys.